Coming up on this program, we show you how to get connected. Find out how to choose an internet service provider. Discover the newest form of communication, electronic mail.
Ways down and ready to ride. One by one, billion by billion, been holding up half the sky. Raise your hand if you're ready and willing, if you know it's time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a girl on time. Time for
Hello, hello, hello. You're in yet. That's what she said. Are you in yet? Hi, Mike. You're here. Oh, that's not what I want to look at. I hope everybody is doing well. Hello, shoulder. Hello, crowd. I hope everyone's having a good Saturday. I'm still in my workout clothes because I went to the gym today. We're going to get all the dopamine we can from this individual visit. Now, I am, we all know how I feel about yoga, but I'm a masochist. I'm not stupid. So instead of signing up for a yoga class, I signed up for a boot camp class tomorrow morning. Because I guess I hate myself in a way, but I love myself. Ugh, yoga is a pyramid scheme. Everybody knows it. Everybody fucking knows it. Everybody knows somebody, well, at least where I live, who's become a yoga instructor, and then they want you to become a yoga instructor, and then you gotta go to retreats, and you gotta pay a lot of money, and it turns out everybody's a goddamn yoga instructor. And they all need your money. We have started eating healthier. I have too, Casey Carey. And the workouts will help. But here's my last funny story. Here's the thing, right? I'm a bit I default to take good pictures of myself that I like to look at. I have plenty of ugly photos of myself, but I try and, take a good shot, right? But today it occurred to me that I should take a before shot, and then it actually became difficult for me because I was like, oh, well, you can make this look as fat as possible. And turns out I don't even want to photograph that. I just stood with it for a little bit, and I was like, ooh, I don't know about this. But the good news is I think it'll be quite dramatic because I think my body just remembers being pregnant, so I just look extremely pregnant. It's terrible. Anyways, I hope everybody's doing well. And we are going back in time to the 2020 Pandy. That's right. Were you there? We were all there. If you're watching this show, you were there. The Pandy, the pandemic, when Zoom court was a must. Thank you very much. Also, hi, Vicky. Yes, mom on laundry day look. Yes. That's actually the look I go for every day. Pretty much. But yes, set your time machines to 2020 when Texas was the place to be, but not for you and not for me. It was the place to be if you were in District 323. Oh, shit, that was a good rhyme. The 323rd District Court of Tarrant County, Texas, presided over by the Honorable Judge Alex Kim and his minions extraordinaire. And Texas, they were one of the first and only places, and many of you were there. I made friends in that courtroom because here's one of the things. They ran the courtroom, it was on every day, most weekdays. It was like Tuesdays and Thursdays and Mondays, and they had like requirements. So they were on quite a bit. They left the chat open. I'll allege, because I think Judge Kim just fucking likes it. I said it. I said it. He liked it. But they did not engage with us very often. Not like some courts. Anyways, but we were all there. I'm sure he knew. I'm sure he watched. This is before I was a YouTuber. And I was just a YouTube watcher. And we all watched YouTube Court. And it really did get me quite hooked. And a lot of it I realize now, as I've watched most of these now probably 2 or 3 times. Because I watched them live for the most part. Then on KCC 1.0, I started that channel with a series called Detention Dockets, where we watched them again. But we would get like right into it, and I really enjoyed it. So we would do like 6 and 8 hour streams. Woo! And then we've watched a couple more since. So I don't actually know. I honestly picked one at random. I picked one with Judge Porter because I want to give him the spotlight for a little bit. Judge Porter, if you don't know, he's one of the minions, but actually one of the associate judges. But it became obvious in this court when you watch it every day. Like, and I've said this so many times, the law is only so important, but what's mostly important is the judge that you're in front of, and if you know what to do and say to that judge. Judge Kim had a whole setup that he needed. He's like a fucking, I don't know, a girl who can't come unless she's got 17 things done on the checklist in the correct order at the right temperature, and then possibly a magical orgasm at the end. Whereas, you know, a lot of judges are down and dirty. They get it done, you know. But Judge Kim was very, very needy. Very needy. And the lawyers that did well in his court sucked his asshole so much. I mean, I'm not even talking about kissing. I'm saying they sucked it and stuck their tongue in it. Sucked it, Paisley. What are you talking about? Try it. Believe me, somebody's gonna have their mind blown. Anyways, look, I lost 5 people saying that. I love that. Anyways, they weren't meant to be. That's perfect. Weeding out the weak. Stomached. Anywho, so let's go ahead to court. Court at this place started on time, and if you were late, you did not get in. Judge Porter or Judge Kim fucking loved it. He exceptionally loved to. But you know what? He did let them in, but he made them grovel, or made an attorney grovel, honestly, to get them into the courtroom. But he would lock the Zoom court. So they would be like, oh, this child's mother's been in the waiting room sending me incessant messages trying to get in. And remember, this is in the beginning of 2020 when people were actually learning, some of them. Anyways, the joy that is. Why don't you shut up, Paisley, so we can fucking watch it? Huh? Okay. Oh, also, there's a joke on this channel about Larry Beaver. Larry Beaver is a lawyer, and that arose from this court. He's a lawyer in this court. That's a callback, I guess. Anyways, there's a lot of lore that stems from this courtroom. We used to say 1-0 a lot because the kids are all, it's all coming back to me now. The kids are ranked based on their behavior levels. Oh, I get really fired up watching these. I'm remembering as I'm saying it all because, again, I've seen them. I know. But they're sort of dicks, you know, the judges. He's a bit of a dick. And not Judge Porter. Judge what's his face. Judge Kim. Anyways, well, let's just watch this, Paisley. But what I was going to say is the levels are this. It's 1, 2, or 3, 1 being the best, 3 being the worst. And then there's a letter associated with the numbers. So, acceptable, unacceptable, A, U, O for outstanding, and then C for confined. So you could only be level 3C, which meant you were confined to your room. And the best you could be is level 10. So when these kids come out, and some of them come out clutching their little, certificates and stuff, it's just... Anyways, you'll see. Let's go. So we would all be gathering because we know what time court starts, and so do these people. And if you ain't in, you ain't in. And yeah, that's I believe a turkey over here with Ray. A turkey. It is Texas after all, folks. Oh yes, this is also a pregame. Judge, before you get started, and I hope your day is better than you deserve. Is that weird when you say that to somebody else? I think it is. But this judge is very well known for saying that, and he is hilarious for it. But pre-gaming, thank you, Lou, for reminding me, or Ware, as the guys call you. Tonight we are pre-gaming here before we go to slap fights. Slap fights, whoever thought I would love watching slap fights, but I really do. It's just hanging out with you guys. It's pinned at the top of the chat, the link, and this is set to redirect to it later with our wonderful hosts, Credence and Mikey. As far as I know, they're not slapping each other this time, but we are still petitioning for that to happen. Anyway, so if you're here with us for that, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you've never heard of it before, give it a shot. I promise you. We have women in their 60s that are now avid slap fight fans. If I ever thought the demographic was so difficult to bring to a sport, shit.
Gee, you spent your whole life gardening for this lady. What do you think that was training for?
All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to detention hearings in the 323rd Judicial District Court of Tarrant County, Texas. My name is Judge Porter. These hearings are being broadcast live on YouTube. Yes, YouTube. I will admonish anyone who is listening now or either on YouTube or participating via Zoom that recording or rebroadcasting of these hearings in any shape, form, or fashion is expressly prohibited. Violation of this order by the court can subject you to civil and or criminal contempt.
Oh shit. Civil and criminal contempt. We've already made a tacit agreement that you guys are gonna bail me out if I ever get in trouble for broadcasting this shit. I think we could crowdfund bail. Don't you think? Thank you so much, Casey Carey and Streamlabs. Wow. On it tonight. Don't wanna fight with Paisley. Me neither, bud. Me neither. He is admonishing me and I like it. Like I said, a little masochist. The thing is this. Every court that I've ever watched, they've been so damn busy dealing with crime up in their neighborhood that I just don't think they're going to find their way to Canada to talk to me about it. But I also don't go out of my way to interview judges, which I think is a little bit toeing the line.
Is everyone ready? We're going in reverse alphabetical order today. So, are you Ms. Walden?
Yes, sir.
All right, Ms. Walden, if you'll pull your chair just a little bit closer to the computer. And I have not seen Mr. Adeniji here today. I'm sure he is.
Oh yeah, so if you didn't understand, these are children, by the way. These children, they're now not children for the most part, except for the most youngest of children. Well, no, even those. Because we didn't see under 14 hearings, those weren't broadcast. And these were 4 years ago, so they would be 18 now. Regardless, I do feel bad-ish, but it's old shit. And we don't put names.
I don't see my PO or my mom or my son. Just wait.
Miss Smiley is here.
Yes.
Has anybody seen Lateef?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can. I'm going to put you on mute. I don't believe you're Miss Walden's case, correct? Or are you?
No, I'm not. I just logged in on my phone because I had computer problems. So I want to make sure that you guys can hear me.
We're good. I'm going to put you on mute, though.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, if you will turn off your cell phones or put them on silence. Also, I'm going to ask everyone to keep your computer on mute until your specific case is called, okay? Okay, we're still checking on Mr. Adeniji.
One time during one of these hearings, a mom Hulk smashed a table in the courtroom and was taken into custody.
I sent the link out. There's a second link. Yeah.
She like freaked out and like flipped up and then smashed down the table.
Yeah, it doesn't work. I sent a second link. Okay, because you're up. We're waiting on you. Okay, bye.
All right.
OG crew, remember that?
Your attorney's on his way. He'll probably be here in less than 2 minutes.
And we're just
All right, Miss Walden.
Oh, this is
Miss
before they
Smiley.
figured out like how the kids could all interchange
Miss Smiley?
on the computer.
Yes, sir.
I believe Miss Walden's trying to get your attention.
Is my mama coming?
She's not gonna be able to make it. She said she had to go to work. She started back to work.
Oh.
Did you get a hold of her?
Theme,
I talked to her yesterday.
Okay.
a tragic theme of
Oh,
parents.
so she not gonna be on here?
She said she's at work. She had to go back and start the store back up today. So she said she wasn't gonna be able to make it. There's Miss Lateef.
All right. How are you, Mr. Adeniji?
I'm good.
All right, Ms. Walden. My name is Judge Porter. You have the right to have this hearing recorded. You also have the right to have this hearing in front of Judge Kim. If you want either of those things, your attorney, Mr. Adeniji, will let me know. Do you see him on the screen?
Yes, sir.
All right. You also have the right to remain silent and not say anything at all. If there is something you want to say, I would suggest that you not just blurt it out. Instead, what I want you to do is wave your hand like this. That'll get my attention. That'll also get your attorney's attention. And then I'll create a private internet chat room just for the two of y'all to talk. That way he can tell you whether or not you really should say it. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right, Miss Smiley, what brings Miss Walden to court today?
Well, Your Honor, she was referred in custody on April 9th for UUMV. According to the police report, she took her father's SUV and drove to another location on Calmont. Father and stepmom alerted the police that she did not have permission to take the vehicle. She was taken into custody and referred to the JPD. Your Honor, another out of custody referral came in on yesterday due to a fight that occurred in detention on April 27th. There was an incident where there were 5 girls involved in a fight back in detention. Yes, sir. On May the 1st, 2 of the victims decided they wanted to file charges. Tarrant County Sheriff's Department was notified, came out and took a police report, and that report did come in yesterday late evening.
All right. Does she have a parent or guardian here today?
No, Your Honor. Her mom said she was not able to make it. She just started back work today and she had to open up the store, so she was not able to make it.
Okay. And she's level 1-0 in the back?
She is as of yesterday.
All right. Mr. Adeniji, what are your thoughts?
I spoke with my client yesterday and she asked me to humbly request of you to let her go home and an electronic monitor.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, I don't have a parent or guardian to release her to today. So I'm gonna have to order that she be detained. Yes, ma'am. What is it, Ms. Walden?
My mama, when I talked to her yesterday, she was like she wasn't gonna be able to make it, but she said if I got released, it'll be later today to get me picked up.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna allow you and Mr. Adeniji to talk about that at a later time. And Mr. Adeniji knows that if you maintain your level 1-0 status, then I'll let him make a special request for an earlier detention hearing. And he can either get myself or Judge Terry or Judge Kim to consider releasing you when your mom can be present for court. Is that okay?
Okay.
Judge, can I clarify this policy? Is it 7 days maintain level 1 outstanding or 2 weeks?
I didn't set a specific date. What concerns me right now is the fight that occurred back in detention.
Okay.
Because the court's aware of a little bit more than what was brought out. So I'm not going to make a specific promise that if she keeps a certain level for a certain number of days, that she automatically gets out. I'm going to allow you, Mr. Adeniji, to work with the prosecutor in figuring out if and when that might be appropriate to make that request. Does that make sense?
Yes, Judge.
All right. All right, that's going to be the order of the court. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Judge. Judge, I don't think I have any other setting. Am I free to leave?
Yes, sir. And thank you for being here today. Good to see you on a Friday.
You too, Judge.
All right. I know Miss McGonagall's here. I thought I saw her. There she is. Let's get her unmuted.
So these are detention hearings. They have to happen every 10 days. So sometimes
And
if kids have
is
been in
Ms.
detention a long time,
Washington
the parents don't
here?
come.
Yes.
Your Honor.
All right. You, Mr. Osborne?
Yes, sir.
All right. My name is Judge Porter. This is a detention hearing to determine if you should remain in custody or be released to a parent or guardian. You have the right to have this hearing recorded. You also have the right to have this hearing in front of Judge Kim. If you want either of those things, your attorney, Ms. McGonigal, will let me know. Do you see Ms. McGonigal on the screen? She's the lady with the blue shirt waving her hand.
Oh, I see her.
Okay. You also have the right to remain silent and not say anything at all. If there's something you want to say, please do not blurt it out. Instead, what I want you to do is wave your hand like this.
Yes, sir.
That'll get my attention. That'll get your attorney's attention. I'll create a private internet chat room for y'all to talk. That way she can advise you on whether or not you really should say it. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. Anything you say today cannot be used at an adjudication or disposition hearing, but it might be used against you at a future detention hearing. So, Ms. Washington, what brings Mr. Osborne to court today?
Thank you, Your Honor. On May the 8th, Osmond was referred in custody by the Fort Worth Police Department for the offense of evading arrest with a vehicle. According to the report, on May the 7th, Fort Worth Police observed him operating a silver Nissan northbound on Miller Street. The officers ran the vehicle and learned that the vehicle was stolen by the Dallas Police Department. The officers observed Osmond in the driver's seat, initiated a traffic stop, and the vehicle pursuit ended. After several miles, the vehicle crashed into a backyard on Sandy Lane. Osmond was observed exiting the driver's side of the vehicle after the crash, after it crashed into a creek bed. He was located in a creek bed after it crashed. Osmond had exited the driver's side of the vehicle, ran on foot. Osmond was returned to the crash. They was able to apprehend him, return him to the crash scene, and verified that the vehicle, that he was a vehicle of the driver. He was transported here. Your Honor, he's currently on probation, a 1-year probation for unlawful carrying of a weapon, possession of marijuana, and theft of a firearm. Those were all consolidated, placed on probation for 1 year on July the 11th. I'm not sure if there's a parent that's here. I've been trying to contact the mom all week and even this morning. He's currently in CPS custody. He was placed in the foster care back on, I believe it was April the 3rd, due to an incident that occurred at the home that they were residing at. He was removed by CPS and placed in the foster care, and then he ran from that foster care. I did speak with a CPS worker on the 15th of April, and she was supposed to have been sending me the runaway report and some more additional information. I have yet to even receive that. Osmond had been making phone contacts with me up until this week. I did speak with him. He and mom on the 30th was my last time speaking with him. I did encourage him to contact the CPS work and go back to the foster care. I've been trying to contact mom since Monday through this morning, and I have yet to talk with her. So I'm not sure what's going on.
All right, Mr. Osborne, do you need to talk with your attorney privately?
Yes.
Okay. Let me set that up for you.
There was also like 3 days that they did this, but they don't usually do this. I wouldn't be surprised if they just stop. It's just but every time he says private internet chat room, something.
Just a second. Ms. McGonigal, please make it brief because you got other people waiting behind you, okay?
I understand, Judge.
I know you do. Sometimes the others don't. All right. You should be able to go in there now.
Private internet chat room. Hey, you fucked up my bit, Judge. You fucked up my bit. Don't do that. Anyways, so these are mostly sad cases, but it is we talk a lot about the need for funding in early childhood education and intervention for families rather than so much money spent in the justice system just a mere 10 years later on some of these children. We're willing to spend thousands of dollars a day incarcerating them, but when it matters, especially when we have pregnant teens up here, my God. Anyways, if I was in charge, we've heard that before. Who the fuck is running around on court? Oh yeah, Judge Kim was famous for his warnings because he started like having people do random shit on stream, and then he'd have to hold on. Whoa.
All right, Ms. McGonigal, what are your thoughts?
Your Honor, we've spoken, and he is willing to return to the foster home with his siblings. I'm not sure if there's a CPS representative on here. I saw a name that looked familiar for CPS, but I'm not 100% positive.
You're correct. She is, and I've asked her to join by video, and I haven't seen that happen yet. There she is. Miss Tiffany, can you unmute?
There she is. Yeah.
There she is.
Hi. I am not the worker for this child though.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I'm here for another youth.
Okay.
Well,
All right, Miss
No, I can
McGonigal.
see who the worker is.
It was Miss Megan. The last person I spoke with was someone by the name of Megan.
Oh.
that was probably in investigations.
I'm remembering something. These used to take hours. They were disorganized as fuck. Again, height of 2020. Anyways. Darlene's bummed about being in court. That's what's happening here. Darlene's bummed about being in court.
Yeah.
All right. I don't see anybody named Megan in the room today. So, Ms. McGonigal, what are your thoughts?
You know, we just asked that he be released back into CPS's custody. He is willing to return to the foster home. I think that would be beneficial for him. He can receive services through CPS right now, counseling, anger management, medication compliance. He'd also, it seems as though was compliant with probation, at least with meeting with Miss Washington. I don't anticipate that being an issue if he was in foster home. So if we can get in touch with a representative from DFPS, I'd like to have him released back to that foster home today.
All right, counsel, thank you for your arguments. Mr. Osborne, you're on probation, you're evading arrest, you're committing a new offense allegedly, traveling at 100 miles an hour in a residential area. Not acceptable behavior. That is not behavior that is compliant with your probation. And so I'm going to order that you be detained, because if I were to release you, you'd be a danger to the community. Sir, put your hand down. What I want you to do, we'll reconsider this in 2 weeks. Between now and then, you need to get to level 1-0 for me to even consider releasing you, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, that's going to be the order of the court. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I know Mr. Lewis is in the building. I can see him today.
That's why that bit got old so fast.
Mr. Lewis, are you in the room? There you are.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Okay, and are you Mr. Mayfield?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Mayfield, my name is Judge Porter. This is a detention hearing to determine if you should remain in custody or be released to a parent or guardian. You have the right to have this hearing recorded. You also have the right to have this hearing in front of Judge Kim. If you want either of those things, your attorney, Mr. Hall, will let me know. Do you see Mr. Hall on the screen?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, keep looking. His name says Ray and Don Hall, and he's got a big turkey behind his head. Okay, take your computer mouse and move it to the right side of the black border on the screen. It should have a blue arrow that pops up. I want you to click on that blue arrow for me, and it'll give you an additional grouping of pictures. Do you see Mr. Hall now?
Oh, yeah, no.
All right. You have the right to remain silent and not say anything at all. If there's something you want to say, I would advise you to not blurt it out. Instead, what I want you to do is wave your hand like this. That'll get my attention. That'll also get your attorney's attention. I'll create a private internet chat room for the two of y'all to talk. That way you can talk about what you want to say, and he can advise you on whether or not you really should say it. Anything you say during this hearing cannot be used against you at a disposition or adjudication hearing, but it might be used against you at a future detention hearing. All right, Mr. Lewis.
Yes, sir.
What brings Mr. Mayfield to court today?
Your Honor, Robert is pending file charges of criminally negligent homicide, manslaughter, and burglary of a vehicle, the latter of which is unrelated to the other two. The details of the homicide and the manslaughter are somewhat sensitive. I might respectfully suggest the court review the offense report versus be giving a verbal presentation.
That will work. And what's his level in the back?
Level is 1 outstanding, which he's
Okay.
consistently maintained during his time here.
All right, Mr. Mayfield, Judge Kim has gone over the charges with you, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you understand the charges, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you feel like I need to review those charges with you?
Not if you don't feel necessary, Your Honor.
Oh, well, I'm asking you, what do you feel is necessary? You feel you understand what you're charged with?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Mr. Hall,
Yes.
tell me about your thoughts.
His aunt and uncle are willing to take him. They stay in touch with me, especially the aunt. We're going to be getting ready for trial.
I just realized most of these cases will be resolved by now. But I wonder if they're sealed because they're juvenile. Some of them. This is interesting, but bad.
Trial, so I would like for him to be out where, he can come to the office and stuff to get ready, for court. And they're willing to take him. Mom's already in the past expressed that she would like him to be able to go there and stay with them while this is pending. I think we're set sometime in June now for the trial.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hall. Were the charges different, I would concur, especially given how well Mr. Mayfield has done in detention. But there are two factors that concern me. First, the underlying charge is serious. Second of all, we had to extradite him from Wyoming. And so that suggests the availability, I'm not saying probability, but the availability of a flight risk.
Well, everybody was aware he was going to Wyoming. The police and everybody knew about that.
And that's great. It just means he's got an opportunity and routes established where if he wanted to flee, he could, more so than your average Joe who grew up in Como, who has no outside ties to a different state. So that just gives me some pause. I don't see a parent or guardian here today, but I am aware that the aunt and uncle have been here in the past. But I think the gravity of the charge and those outside ties are just too strong for me to be able to release him today.
Okay.
All right. That's going to be the order of the court. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
This is for Julie. Hi, Julie. My name's Darlene.
One day where we start at the end of the alphabet and your client is at the top. So.
Say what, Judge? Oh, we got a parent here.
I feel bad because, I try and mix it up so that the attorneys who have Z clients don't get stuck all the time. Where was Judge Thomas? Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh my God. What? You're kidding. Judge Thomas did not.
All right. Uh-oh. I lost. All right. There you are. You Miss Mason?
Yes, sir.
All right. Sometimes the pictures on the screen move around to different locations and I lose where you're supposed to be. Okay. Ms. Mason, my name is Judge Porter. You have the right to have this hearing recorded. You also have the right to have this hearing in front of Judge Kim. It's just a detention hearing to determine if you should remain in custody or be released to a parent or guardian. Your attorney is Mr. Hall. Do you see Mr. Hall on the screen?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right. You have the right to remain silent and not say anything at all. If there's something you want to say, please do not blurt it out. Instead, what I want you to do is wave your hand like this. That'll get my attention. That'll get your attorney's attention. That'll let us know that you want to say something. I'll create a private internet chat room for the two of y'all to talk about what you want to say. That way he can advise you on whether or not you really should say it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. And I believe you have a parent or guardian here today. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Are you mom?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Turner Hill, what brings Ms. Mason to court today?
Your Honor, this is her second 10-day detention hearing. She was referred in custody on April the 8th for the offenses of aggravated robbery ×2. According to the arrest affidavit on July 28th, Fort Worth PD.
Oh, before we find out, let's say thank you to Julie from Darlene. Thank you so much. I'm so thankful. I like it here. It's like, it gets sad in some cases. I'm like, ooh, I don't want to be in the courtroom for these parts. But now I do. I love it. Oh, you guys. My dream is that one day somebody clips this, like the part of me smoking or dancing in court, and doesn't understand the context, and they think that it's a real court video. I have weird dreams.
He responded to a robbery call. They met with the victim, who said she believed she was set up by Anaya, who is the girlfriend of her roommate. The victim advised that they were hanging out at the apartment, and when the victim came out the bathroom, there were 3 males armed with handguns, wearing masks and hoodies in the living room. The victim said one of the males pointed the gun at her head, and just as the suspects were leaving the house or the apartment, a friend of the victim had entered the apartment. The friend attempted to turn around and run, and then he was chased and shot at by the suspects. The victim and Anaya's boyfriend at the time also tried to chase the car, and they were also shot at by the suspect. On March the 3rd, Anaya's mother met with Burleson PD and informed them that she had information on the robbery, and she provided the officers with information about the suspects. Anaya had told her mother that Carson Deeds, who was a suspect, wanted the boyfriend set up for a robbery. Anaya told her mom that she refused. On March the 9th, Carson was arrested for a capital murder warrant. During the execution of the warrant, the officer seized his cell phone, and cell phone records showed a conversation between Anaya and Carson the day of the robbery. During the conversation, Carson and Anaya developed a plan to rob her boyfriend of drugs and money, and she sent Carson pictures of his car and also the address. She informed Carson she would leave the door unlocked, and she planned to get half of the drugs for her role in the robbery. Carson and I also texted each other right before the robbery occurred, confirming what time Carson would be there. They also had text messages on March the 1st and March the 2nd, where they were talking about who had called the police and that the police were looking for Carson. And there was video found on Carson's phone of Anaya, Carson, and other suspects in the same vehicle that fled the scene after about 30 minutes after the robbery occurred. The DA did file a petition on the case, and she's scheduled for an adjudication disposition hearing on May the 21st, and she has no prior contact with our department.
All right, Mr. Hall.
Judge, her mom and grandmother are wanting her home. We're willing to go home also. She's been on level 1-0 this whole time. I think at the last hearing, it was said that if she stayed on it the whole time, that she could possibly be released. Mom has been cooperating with the police. And I think my client was put in a position where she didn't have a choice and had to cooperate, that the mom and her both had been threatened by the co-defendant, who's an older adult. So I'd ask that she be released.
All right. Ms. Mason, it's great that you're at level 1-0. However, circumstances surrounding the alleged offense, you understand why they scare me, right?
Sure, I understand.
They show a level of pre-planning that is unusual in a lady of your age. And were we not talking about a potential capital murder or something like that, it would be a different story. But this just scares me. And I'm afraid that, I know your mom was here today and was here last time, but I'm afraid if I release you, that you would be a danger to the community. I appreciate you've got a different argument, but I've made my ruling. I'm sorry. I can't do it. Not on what I have before me. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry.
Can I say something?
Yes, ma'am, you can.
But I mean, I just don't understand, like, did everything that the last judge told her to. She's not a threat to society. I live in a good community. Like, I live in Burlington. I would keep her on lockdown 24 hours. I'm on medical leave from work. I've been on medical leave for a year. Like, this isn't who she is. And I really want y'all to allow her to show y'all that that's not who she is. Mr. Hall, can you not say something like this is crazy? I mean, I thought we were going to be able to consider her to come home.
Yeah, I already made my argument to the judge. It's his decision. I mean, he understands that I want her home.
And I understand, Mom, that you want her home too. What is so scary about this is the text messages back and forth that suggest planning this robbery.
I understand.
That's what scares me.
I understand that, sir, but there's a long backstory to that, and it's just, that's not.
And that needs to play out at a trial, okay?
So is she gonna have to stay in until she goes to trial? Like, I mean,
this
are we
will be.
gonna give her a chance to come out in the community and show that this isn't who she is?
She'll have another detention hearing in 10 days. And it will, whether or not to release her will be reconsidered at that time, okay?
They say this every time.
All right, thank you.
This is when they were sadly making everybody drag their own chair in, but not wear masks. But you gotta sit in your own chair.
All right, are you Mr. Eric?
Yes, sir, I am.
All right, can you please pull your chair closer to the computer?
Oh, look at Mama's head. I just noticed Mama's head. Oh, 2020, you were weird the whole fucking year.
Thank you. All right. This is a detention hearing to determine if you should remain in custody or be released to a parent or guardian. My name is Judge Porter. You have the right to have this hearing recorded. You also have the right to have this hearing in front of Judge Kim. If you want either of those things, your attorney, Mr. Hall, will let me know. Do you see Mr. Hall on the screen? He's the guy with gray hair and he's got a turkey in his background.
Yeah, I see.
You see him, Mr. Eric?
Yeah, I see him.
All right. You have the right to remain silent and not say anything at all. If there is something you want to say, please do not blurt it out. Instead, I want you to wave your hand like this. Okay? That'll get my attention and that'll get your attorney's attention. I'll create a private internet chat room for the two of y'all to talk about what you want to say. That way he can advise you on whether or not you really should say it. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Ms. Peters, I know you're here. I saw you. There you are. Okay. What brings Mr. Eric to court today?
Your Honor, Ms. Bowers is actually the attorney of record. I just couldn't get a hold of her today.
Mr. Hall is covering for her.
On 5-8, he is the companion of Osborne, although my police report is not as detailed as Mr. Osborne's police report. It just indicates on 5-8 that Terry was a companion in a stolen car. They initiated a traffic stop when they put the red and blue light sirens on, and they evaded the vehicle they evaded for about 20 minutes, and then Terry exited the car once they pulled over and fled on foot. But he didn't get very far due to the terrain, due to his arm, and he was apprehended. They ran his name and found that he did have a warrant with our department. On 2/17, Terry left the home around 5:43 p.m. The electronic monitoring office called, and he had left while mom was asleep. So between the mom and the electronic monitoring office, he went to the address he was located at. He did return home. They issued a warrant. We dispatched Forest Hill PD numerous times to go pick him up, but they're not the best at initiating warrants. On the 19th, I called mom to have him turn himself in. He cut off the monitor and left without permission with a person. He has been pending court since November. We have done fitness to proceed evaluations on him. And court.
Yes, ma'am. What is going on? Miss Eric? Miss Eric, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes,
What is going on with your son?
I don't. One thing I know, the wrong people. He's hanging around kids from a whole nother side of town where we live at. And I have tried to sit down and talk to him. I don't, you know. I've been trying to tell him to turn himself in. He won't turn himself in. I go looking for him. The kids, they cover up for the other kids. Like they'll tell you a lie. Like he'll be right there and they'll tell me, oh, we ain't seen Terry. I said, well, you know I need to see Terry for his arm. They don't care. They just hide him and they just don't care. They don't care if you're looking for your kid or not. They just cover up for him.
Well, now that he's back in detention, we know where he is, don't we?
Yes, we do.
And we know he's not out stealing cars, right?
Right.
We know he's not out doing drugs.
Right.
We've got him somewhere where his arm might actually have a chance to heal, right?
Right, I hope. Yes.
So, should I release him to you to come home today, or should we keep him someplace safe? Should we keep him in detention? Given his behavior, what should we do? Come on, Mom. You know what the right.
Oh, he made her walk into that one. Oh, Judge Porter's trying to teach this poor woman a lesson. Oh.
The answer is, I know you don't want to say it, do you?
No.
Because you love your son, don't you?
Yeah, I don't want to say
He's not a bad kid. He just does bad things, right?
Yeah, he don't know how to. They know how to get to him. They know he wanna hang around. So they know how to. How can I say it? Like
they know how to trick him into doing bad stuff.
Yeah, because he's not that. If you go, Terry's not. He's not that type of person. I don't know. Since he's hanging around some more kids now, he just changed. So I don't even,
Mr. Hall?
Judge, I know Mom's usually on top of everything. I've represented, I believe, his brother before, and she always got him to court on time and everything. And if there's a problem, she always calls the PO. But, like you said, right now he's safe, and I'll leave it up to your discretion.
All right. Mr. Eric, we let you out last time to take care of your arm, didn't we?
Yes, but I had to go to the hospital.
Yeah. We let you out so you could take care of your arm. But now you're back in detention with a new charge, right?
What charge I got?
another evading arrest. You ran from the cops, allegedly. Okay? You know you're not supposed to do that, right?
Yes, I just scared.
I know. All right. So I'm going to order that you be in detention because I'm afraid that if I were to release you, you'd be back with your friends and you'd be back in 2 weeks on another UMV.
Swear, man. I'm trying to stay out the way. I'm trying to do better things.
Well, that's not the decision you made yesterday. Okay? So there has to be a consequence for the decision you made yesterday, right? Okay. So I'll see you again in 2 weeks.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir.
That's my last one, Judge. So I'm going to go ahead and leave the meeting.
All right. Enjoy your Friday.
You too.
Yeah, the excuse.
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Oh. Okay.
What's up?
All right. Am I pronouncing your last name correctly? Is it Fontenot?
Yes, sir.
All right. Can you pull your chair a little bit closer to the computer for me?
Yes,
Thank you, sir. All right. My name is Judge Porter. This is a detention hearing to determine if you should remain in custody or be released to a parent or guardian. You have the right to an attorney. And do you see your attorney on the screen, Ms. McGonigal? She's waving her hand, blue shirt. Okay. Take your, you see the touchpad on the computer? Take your finger and move it over to the middle of the left side of the screen, and a blue arrow should pop up.
Okay.
And then tap on it, and you should see some new pictures show up. Do you see Ms. McGonigal now? She has glasses and a blue shirt, waving her hand. Do you see her?
Yes, sir.
Okay. She's your attorney. You have the right to remain silent and not say anything at all. If there's something you want to say, please don't blurt it out. Instead, what you do is wave your hand like this.
Yes, sir.
That'll let me know you want to say something. I'll create a private internet chat room for you and your attorney to talk about what you want to say. That way she can advise you on whether or not you really should say it. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. And it also looks like you have a parent here today. Do you see her on the screen?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Mr. Lewis.
Yes, sir.
What brings Mr. Fontenot to court today?
Nelson was referred yesterday by the Fort Worth Police Department on a charge of family violence, assault with bodily injury. According to the police report on that day, yesterday, police were called to the home regarding a domestic disturbance. They were advised by Nelson's mother that she and her boyfriend had been away from the home, had seen on their doorbell camera that their daughter apparently had some friends over. They had gone home and dispersed the gathering. The friends were there, I guess, in defiance of the family rules. An altercation ensued between parents and kids, and Nelson allegedly went out and began punching mom's boyfriend's car. The boyfriend shoved Nelson away from the car, and Nelson allegedly picked up a scooter, which was in the yard, and struck him multiple times. The sister also allegedly struck the boyfriend and was arrested as an adult.
All good in my arms. That sounds like a tragic situation, smashing somebody with a scooter. Is that what he just said? Oh, the cops are coming. The cops are coming. They're coming for me. Ooh, baby. Remember, guys, slap fights tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern. We are pre-gaming our way there. It's also pinned at the top of the chat if you want to get in there early, and we will be redirected there if all goes to plan. Where we are going to see legal violence. Yay! Yay! Not gay! Maybe a little bit gay. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet.
All right,
Where's
and
Vince?
does he have
To
history
tell
with the
me?
department?
Yes, sir, he does.
Is he currently on probation for anything?
He is not on current supervision, no, sir.
All right, but his past offenses include assault and things like that. Is that
Yes,
correct? All right.
Yes.
Are you Nelson's mom?
Yes, sir.
What's going on? Talk to me.
Okay, well, that's my car. So it wasn't my boyfriend's car. The car belonged.
Okay.
And Nelson was in his room. He came out and it didn't have nothing to do with him. And I was just telling him to be quiet. But I think Nelson was already upset because he wanted me to go ahead and purchase him online for his game because he just had got a new game. But I told him not right now because I just got his phone fixed. But I think what happened was when Tatiana shows out, which is the sister who's 17, he tries to take her for her. And while my boyfriend had shoved Nelson away because Nelson was trying to get my phone out my hand because I was telling him that I was about to call y'all, but I wasn't really on the phone calling the police at the time. I was just trying to scare Nelson. But I don't know why Nelson came out his room to even jump in the argument. I mean, what was going on at all because it didn't have nothing to do with Nelson. But I think Nelson was just trying to be on his sister's side. But she was the one that caused the whole problem and made the whole commotion go on.
Okay. Ms. Smith, what are your thoughts?
Can I ask a few questions?
You bet.
Okay. Does the boyfriend live with y'all in the home?
Yes.
He does. How does he feel about this since he's the victim?
He said he didn't write a statement. He didn't want to. He tried to beg the police officer not to take them in, but he said he had to go ahead and take Nelson in. He didn't write a statement. He didn't want to go forward, and that's why he didn't come because he don't want to see them in jail.
Okay.
So he's fine. He's okay with it. That's why I asked him, but he was like, no, I don't want to participate in none of that.
Okay. Do y'all feel safe with him if he were to be released today?
Yes, I feel safe with him. He doesn't harm me or nothing. I mean, since he's been off of probation, he's been a good kid. He don't go outside. I'm not taking up for him, but he just needs to stay in his place when nothing has to do with him because he could have barred that because he was in his room basically laying down asleep. But when his sister get rowdy, he thinks he's supposed to get rowdy.
Okay. Does he typically follow your instructions or your boyfriend's instructions in the home?
Yes, they get along. They even play the game online together. He goes and get his haircut with him. He takes him to get his haircut and everything. Okay. So this is the first time this ever happened.
Okay. And then Mr. Lewis, it looks like on the offense report, it's listed twice that he has 2 charges of assault family violence. Are there 2 victims or is it just duplicated?
I believe it's just duplicated. The police report I reviewed this morning just referenced mom's boyfriend.
Okay, I was just confirming. Your Honor, we'll defer to the court on this one.
Now, Mr. Lewis, I'm looking at the second page of your report to the court. Did Mr. Fontenot have a drug test when he came in?
Yes, sir, he did.
And what were the results of those drug tests?
He was positive for THC.
Mom?
What is THC?
Marijuana. What's going on with that? What's he doing to use drugs?
Well, I don't know. I mean, Nelson, he goes outside with his friends by not knowing that he used drugs because I never see Nelson smoking drugs. I don't smoke drugs.
But we're supposed to be on a quarantine and we got pretty good evidence that he's out there smoking somewhere. Does that give you some concern?
Yes, that do give me some, because I'm not thinking that Nelson smoked marijuana. Because when I ask him, he tells me no.
Ooh. Well, Ms. McGonigal, what are your thoughts?
I think this might be a pretty good case for mediation. Sounds as though the victim is not 100% gung-ho to proceed to prosecution when he does live in the house. I think a mediation might be a good way to resolve this case informally. I would like to see him release his mother today. I would defer to the court if they feel that a monitor is appropriate. I'm not sure if CBD is up and running right now due to the coronavirus. that might be a better alternative to give him a positive outlook and a positive outlet for his time.
Well, Ms. McGonigal, I'm going to let you work with Ms. Smith on those alternatives, but I am going to order that he be released to his mom today. Based on everything that I've been told, mom's got a pretty good handle on the situation. And while the drugs concern me, I think now that mom is aware that Nelson may not have been completely honest with his mother about his drug use, something tells me that mom's going to get on the top of that, right, Mom?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to order that he be released. Mom, do you have any concern that he's a flight risk at all?
Oh, no, he's not.
All right. Then I'm not going to order the electronic monitor in this case. I am going to order, Nelson, that you submit to random UAs. So that means if Mr. Lewis calls you at 9 o'clock in the morning, you got to come before 10 o'clock to give a UA. Okay?
Yes, sir.
You understand that?
Yes, sir.
And if, surprise, surprise, he calls you again at 3:30 that same day, you got to come back and give a second UA.
Yes, sir.
And I encourage the probation officers to give surprise double UAs in a day. That way you don't think you're off scot-free. All right?
Yes, sir.
So if you use drugs, we're going to know. And we're going to know those levels. And those levels will be shared with mom. And I guarantee you, I'm looking at mom right here on the screen. She's going to be watching you like a hawk.
Yes, sir.
Am I wrong, Mom?
Yes, sir.
All right. That's going to be the report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, sir.
Freudian slip. Yes, sir. She meant no. Okay. What do we got next? Take your chair with you. God damn it. Kids need to carry
Is
their
Mr. Beaver
chairs.
here?
Don't wear a mask. Carry your chair. That's right. Get in there with your chair.
Your Honor, I'm here.
All right. I hear your voice. There you are, sir. Great.
Okay.
All right. Are you Miss Brunson?
Yes, sir.
All right. My name is Judge Porter. This is a detention hearing to determine if you should be released to a parent or guardian or ordered to remain in detention. You have the right to have this.
It's Larry fucking Beaver. Look it's Larry goddamn Beaver in the flesh. You guys, he's right here. Oh, this is the man, the myth, the legend himself, Larry goddamn Beaver. Oh! Oh, my night has been made. Oh, he is a legend on this channel. He inspired the character of Larry Beaver, who has been the mascot of the channel. And so many jokes. Because again, this is a foundational thing. Larry Beaver. Oh, we were so blessed tonight. Oh, it's going to be a good night. We're going to have good slap fights. We're going to have good weird legal shit. And that's the thing, Julie, you know, there's weird, sometimes it's like who you watch something with helps. And that's why I think we have a lot of fun together. We're watching 4-year-old detention hearings. And I'm enjoying it with 20 of my closest friends. 23. I don't count Streamlabs. I don't really count very well. That's mostly the problem, to be honest.
Hearing recorded. You also have the right to have this hearing in front of Judge Kim. If you want either of those things, your attorney, Mr. Beaver, will let me know. Do you see Mr. Beaver on the screen?
Yes.
Okay. You also have the right to remain silent and not say anything at all. If there is something you want to say, please do not blurt it out. Instead, what I want you to do is wave your hand like this.
Yes,
That'll let me know you want to say something. I'll create a private internet chat room for you and your attorney to talk about what you want to say. That way he can advise you on whether or not you really should say it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Can you pull your chair a little closer to the computer for me? All right. Ms. Turner-Hill, what brings Ms. Brunson to court today?
Yes, sir. Her grandmother is entering the courtroom. I don't know if you see her walking in. Yes, sir. And then there's 2 CPS workers, Ms. Courtney and then Ms. Howard, are also present today.
Okay, I'm looking for Miss Howard.
There she
There's
is.
Miss Howard. All right, Miss Howard, if you'll take your phone off mute. There we go. All right, Miss Turner Hill, and you're Miss Brunson's grandmother in the back in the parent room, correct?
Yes.
All right, Miss Turner Hill, if you could tell me what brings Miss Brunson to court today.
This is an attorney requested detention hearing. She was originally referred in custody by the 4th Police Department for the offense of assault family violence. Officers were dispatched to residence about 2:00 a.m. Officers spoke with the victim and witness who advised Sarah had been, the police report states that Sarah had been placed through CPS with the family, but that ended up not being correct. During an argument, Sarah assaulted Mary, who was the mother of the home. Mary's husband, Gregory, intervened to defend Mary. During the physical interaction, Sarah reported Gregory.
Okay, this woman reading this sounds like she's reading a math problem. Mary and Gregory were both traveling in the direction of north at 3 kilometers an hour, but there was a turn in the road. How many kilometers an hour was Jim traveling? I'm sorry, what? That's very slow. How would they be traveling? Walking, I guess, 3 kilometers an hour. That's actually even slower.
Pushed her against a brick wall, causing her to hit her head. She then used her cell phone to defend herself and struck Gregory several times in the head until he let go of her. Sarah felt Gregory was going to assault her again, so she put her leg up to push him away. Gregory advised Sarah punched him approximately 2 times in the head, 1 time in the stomach, and kicked him 1 time in the left side of his ribs. And officers did observe visual injuries on Gregory, and he was transported to MedStar to determine if his ribs were broken. Based on the information, Mary did not want to press charges, and other witnesses at the scene determined that Sarah was the aggressor, and Mary and Gregory were acting in loco parentis over Brunson, and she was arrested and transported to our department. She has 1 prior referral for a runaway out of county from December of 2019. And at the last hearing, her mother appeared, and we were unsure about placement options for Sarah. But CPS has been working with the grandmother who resides outside of Tarrant County, and grandmother is willing to accept custody of youth. And CPS, they already met with the grandmother.
All right, Miss Tiffany, Miss Howard, what are your thoughts?
I went out to the house, to her grandmother's house, Connie Brunson. I observed the home, no concerns. I spoke with the adults in the home, which was Connie, and then her daughter, LaDonna, also lives there. No concerns. And we talked about what would happen if Sarah came home. Sarah needs to stay where she is. They need to contact us or contact you guys if she tries to leave. So we don't have any concerns, and we're okay with her being released.
And it said out of county. Can you tell me which county that is?
Kaufman County, Scurry, Texas.
Yep, I know Kaufman.
Mhm.
You have anything to add, Miss Tiffany?
No, I don't.
All right. Mr. Beaver, what are your thoughts?
Your Honor, I've been in contact with Ms. Howard and Ms. Turner Hills, as well as my client and my client's grandmother, and I believe that it would be in my client's best interest for her to be returned to her grandmother's home. I've spoken with her about the expectations for her behavior when she's living with her grandmother, and I believe that she understands it. So we request that she be released to her grandmother.
Okay. Ms. Smith?
Your Honor, we will defer to you on this one.
All right. Grandmother?
Yes.
Do you want Miss Brunson to come home with you today?
Yes, I do.
Tell me what's your relationship with her like?
She's my granddaughter. I took custody of her when she was a baby. I've raised her.
And does she follow your rules at home?
Well, she did for a while until she got a hot hair stuck up her butt and started leaving home and going to wherever she wanted to.
Has Has she been at school out in Kaufman County?
Up until this past year,
Okay. Last fall, was she in school?
yes.
Okay. And up until February, she was in school like she was supposed to be?
I'm not sure she was in school in February.
Okay. Do you have any concerns if I were to release her to you today?
No, I think this would be an eye opener for Sarah.
All right.
Go back, I don't think she'll run off.
All right. Sarah, you remember the last time that, did you talk with Judge Terry last time?
No,
You talked with me or Judge Kim?
you.
Okay. And what did I tell you then?
You told me if I hit a level 1-0 and I stayed that way and with good behavior, then I could be released.
And what did you do?
I got to a level 1-0 and took care of what I needed to.
All right. I'm a man of my word. You kept up your end of the bargain, and I'm going to keep my end, okay? Here's the deal, though. I expect you to maintain level 1-0 at your grandmother's house, okay? Can you do that?
Sure.
All right. You've proven that you can do it. Grandmother, two things. You need to make sure you get her back to court when she's supposed to be back to court, okay?
Okay,
If anything happens, if she runs away, I want you to make 2 phone calls. First, call her probation officer. Will you do that for me?
yes, sir.
Second thing, please call her attorney, Mr. Beaver, because Mr. Beaver needs to know what's going on as well, okay?
Sure will.
All right. Mr. Beaver, you have anything else?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. That'll be the order of the court. Thank you. Good luck, Ms. Brunson.
Larry Beaver for the win.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Larry Beaver, ladies and
And
gentlemen.
that's it for me. May I be excused?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. You have a great weekend.
Peace
Thank
out,
you. You too, Your Honor.
Larry. We love you. Always in good fun. Always in good
All right.
spirits. Larry Lawrence Beaver.
Diego. No, yeah, that kind of matters, doesn't it? Hey, Mr. Brito, is it Brito, or Brito?
It's Brito.
He's Brito and I'm Darlene. I'm back for a little while as well.
Brito, okay. Actually, yeah, if you'll have a seat. All right, Mr. Brito, my name is Judge Porter. This is a detention hearing to determine if you should remain in detention or be released to a parent or guardian. I see a parent walking back into the parent room. And you have the right to have this hearing recorded. You also have the right to have this hearing in front of Judge Kim. If you want either of those things, your attorney, Mr. Mooring, will let me know. Do you see Mr. Mooring in the courtroom?
Yes, sir.
Or on the screen? All
Yes, sir.
right. Now, you also have the right to remain silent and not say anything at all.
Yes, sir.
If there is something you want to say, please do not blurt it out. Instead, I want you to wave your hand like this. That will give a signal to me that you want to talk about something. I'll create a private internet chat room for you and your attorney to talk about what you want to say. That way he can advise you on whether or not you really should say it. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Now, anything you say during this hearing cannot be used against you at adjudication or disposition hearing, but it might be used against you at another detention hearing. You got that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ms. Aguirre, are you here? There you are. All right. What brings Mr. Brito to court today?
Your Honor, this is Diego's 10-day detention hearing. He was referred in custody by Haltom City PD for the offenses of aggravated robbery ×2. According to the police report, on February 24 at 9:47 p.m., officers were dispatched to a convenience store in reference to a shooting. Officer observed victim had a gunshot wound on his right leg. Victim reported as he was walking to the corner store, two Hispanic males exited the vehicle side of the vehicle and asked him for his money. Victim stated he told the males he did not have any money and they ordered him to give him his phone. Victim reported he was shot by one of the suspects. He reported the males did not take anything from him. On February 28, detective was provided with information in reference to possible suspects that were generated from a Facebook posting about the incident. Diego did meet with law enforcement and reported while he was on his way to pick up his girlfriend, he met with law enforcement. He asked the victim for money, and when victim refused, he turned around and heard the shot fired by Andrew. Diego admitted he intended to steal the victim's phone, and Haltom City PD received notification on February 25th. Fort Worth PD officers were dispatched in reference to a robbery report call. Victim stated on February 24th, sometime after 9 p.m., he and his friend were walking down the street when a vehicle pulled up behind them. Alex Diaz, the victim, reported two Hispanic males exited the vehicle and demanded him to give them his phone and AirPods. He stated he observed the other Hispanic male that walked up to his friend had a handgun and was afraid, so he gave the Hispanic male the property and fled the scene. The detective received a screenshot of an Instagram profile with an image of Diego. Victim identified Diego as the person who pointed the gun at his friend at the time of the robbery in Fort Worth. Diego admitted to law enforcement he took items from one of the males that they robbed, however, stated his friend Andrew pointed the gun and told them to run. Diego was referred out of custody by Haltom City PD for the offense of aggravated robbery on April 27th. A supplemental offense report was added for Diego. The police incident report states on the 22nd of April, the victim.
Easy fucking criminal. You know, it's one thing when people are hustling, selling something. You know, I have actually more respect for drug dealers than I have for thieves. I'll tell you that. It is frustrating. Why the fuck are you robbing people, bitch? Don't rob people. Stupid.
Victim was presented with a photo lineup of suspect Andrew Castellanos. He was unable to pick up Andrew from the lineup. He stated that he did not get a good look at him due to the shorter Hispanic male robbing him at gunpoint. He stated he recognized a Hispanic male robbing him and showed Haltom City PD an Instagram profile of Diego.
Wait,
Your Honor,
what's the alleged offense date for that?
it's the same one, Your Honor, for
okay.
February 24th is the alleged date, the offense.
Okay.
Alleged date of the offense.
All right. Has he completed the evaluation that was discussed with Judge Kim at the last detention hearing?
Yes, Your Honor, he completed that on April 29th.
All right. And how's he doing with his medication in the back?
Your Honor, no medication was prescribed. The doctor stated he did not appear to be experiencing any psychiatric crisis that would necessitate a medication evaluation from the detention psychiatrist.
Okay. What's his level today?
Your Honor, Diego is on level 1 today. He's been on level 1 outstanding since March 24th.
Okay.
The day before my birthday.
Mr. Mooring, what are your thoughts?
Judge, I'd ask the court to take notice of his disciplinary history. He's been in for over 30 days now, and he's been at level 1 the entire time. He also has an adjudication hearing on the 13th, and I would like to have him out during this time just to prepare for that. His mother and sister have been in my office on a number of occasions. They've been at every one of the detention hearings. He would be released to the custody of his mother and father and stay at their residence.
Ms. Smith, what are your thoughts?
The state would ask that he be detained as he is a danger to the community.
Oh, and when we watched them the first time, we used to vote. What do we think they're gonna get? Detained, released. We had a whole fucking thing about it. I'm not looking for it right now. I just remember we used to guess what they were gonna do. Detained, released, all the good stuff.
All right, Mr. Mooring, am I correct that last time this hearing was before Judge Kim, and Judge Kim told Mr. Brito that if he was level 1-0 and he was in compliance with his medication, that Judge Kim would consider his release. Is that correct?
That's correct, Judge.
My dilemma here is that the psychiatrist did not prescribe any medication.
He did not. The previous medication that he was on was prescribed by JPS, and he had been on.
This appears to be a legal loophole Judge Porter's just struggling through. Judge Porter's an appellate lawyer.
Do you want to ask some questions of the family?
Judge, that's not necessary. I'll just let you know that they want him back home. He would be at their residence, can be confined to their residence other than to come to my office. And they've been very compliant in everything I've requested that they do, and the courts and the detention center requested them to do.
Wow. This was before Creed Frames. It was Judge Ponders.
Mr. Brito, what I just did while y'all were sitting there waiting is I looked up how you're doing back in detention.
Sure.
And it lists all of your infractions for me back there.
Mm.
And you've been in now. So more than a month and a half, right?
Sure.
During that time, how many infractions have you had? One.
Yeah.
There's only one noted. Well, I take it back. You have 2 infractions, but only 1 sanction. That's pretty remarkable.
Thank you.
That shows me that you do know how to behave in the back. Okay. Now, the agreement that you had with Judge Kim was that you get to level 1.0 and you maintain it, right?
Okay.
Okay. You've done everything on your part of your end of the deal to honor that agreement. So I'm going to follow the agreement that Judge Kim made with you, okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, I am going to order that you be released on an electronic monitor.
Okay.
Also, you are to have no guns of any kind in the house.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
If your probation officer goes on Instagram and finds a picture of you and a gun, that's a violation of your release, and you get to come back to detention.
Yes, sir. I understand.
All right.
Thank you.
So I don't even want a Nerf gun in the house. You got me?
Yes, sir.
All right.
You heard that court order right. No Nerf guns. We're serious about that shit around here. Oh, Judge.
That's going to be the order of the court. Thank you.
Thank
you.
Oh my God.
That's going to be the final order.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Moore. All right. The final hearing we have today is for a juvenile who is under the age of 14. And so pursuant to section 54.08 of the Texas Family Code, the court will be closing off the hearing and stopping the YouTube live stream.
Peace out, Judge Porter. Thank you so much for being so cool today. That was a pretty good little fun chat we had. Now it's almost time for slap fights. It's gonna be a fun time. It is similar to here. I understand oftentimes what's on the screen is the sideshow to having a nice host and people hanging out in the side chat and having a good time. So I think what we'll do is we will get sent all the way over there, get settled in, okay? And then we will, yeah, have a good night, okay? I'll be over there too. Right now, I'm gonna end the live, and then, but I've linked the slap fights in the chat, so if it doesn't redirect over there, go ahead and direct yourselves. And I think they're starting in like 10 minutes, Courtney. It's such a short break in between entertainment options. But maybe we can, I don't know. I thought they were going to start early, to be honest. You were slapped today. Jealous. I was not. But I slapped myself by going to the gym. Oh, God. And tomorrow I have boot camp. I'm a little pain slut, hear me shout. It's time for us to get the fuck out. Okay, I love you guys. I'm proud of you. And I will see you in the next video. Wow, cutting yourself off so early from different things. Just hit the fucking music. Bye.
Ways down and ready to ride.